Let's start, Gary. So 155b, a little bit in the middle of a story about checking if a person's considered a gadol, reach a level of maturity. So we tried to bring a proof that it says that if you're 20 years old and you don't bring the requisite signs, which is two hairs, so then you're called a sris. It's somebody who's not able to have a child. Therefore, the person can't do chalitza and can't do yibum. So, Jules, how are you?
Okay.
You made it.
Good. I'm okay. It's a little freezing here, but okay.
We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're 6 lines from the top.
So
we're saying now in the middle of the story of this Mishnah about a sris, someone who's not able to have children. So we were saying Lav Itmar Allah Amar of Shmuel Bar Yitzchak Amar Rav, who should know do basimane sris. This case is talking about where this person, it was born to him, so to speak. He developed simane sris, meaning the Gemara in Yevamos talks about there's different signs that a person has, that if he has those signs, you consider him a sris. It's somebody who's unable to have children. And there are different halachas that will come out of that. So one of them would be that he can't do chalitza and he can't do yibum. The special rules when the husband dies and the brother-in-law either marries the wife as yibum or breaks off the connection is called chalitza. So okay. So Amar Rava will bring a proof that that's what the Mishnah is talking about, a case where he's developed simani sris. Dekanami. Dek is always we're going to prove you from the words. Dekanami dekatani v'hu hasris. And he is the sris, meaning he's a known sris. Why is he a known sris? Because he has these special signs that make him into a sris. Shema mina. Okay. So that's sort of like the end of a little bit of yesterday, and now a new-ish part. So now, ask the Gemara, let's say a guy never had simane sris. He never developed these signs. So v'chilo nodula simane sris ad kama. He didn't have any signs of a sris. Until what point? And he also doesn't have 2 hairs, which make him an adult. So until what point do you consider him still, so to speak, a katan, a small child? So meaning, we always think of someone who's like, bar mitzvah and bas mitzvah, but we'll see more. It's not true. You have to have 2 things. It's called shanim and simanim. You have to have years and you have to have signs, special signs of maturity. So let's say you have this person who doesn't have any signs of being a sris. He doesn't have any signs of being someone who can't have children. He also doesn't have any hairs. Until what year do you consider him a small person, an immature person, for different halachas? Ad kama, tani Reb Chia, ad roiv shnaisa. Until he's lived a majority of his life. In this case, it is 36 years old. 70 is considered the normal lifespan. So 36 is the majority of his years. Once he hit that age already, so then he is no longer considered a katan. Even if he doesn't have the 2 signs, the 2 hairs, he is considered a gadol. And once he's a gadol, so then all the halachas of a gadol will apply to him. Until that point, different halachas are not going to apply to him. So now, just remember, this whole thing started because we're speaking about at what age did they allow somebody to sell land, right? I wasn't here yesterday, but just to make it clear, a young child, even 7, 8 years old, depending on how mature he is, the rabbis allowed him to sell movable property. When it came to land, they were much more strict. And they said even after 13, you have to be 18 or 20. That was 2 opinions yesterday. Until 18 or 20, they didn't feel a person's mature enough to make sales. So it's somebody who inherited land from their father, and now he wants to sell it. They didn't want the child to make all these risky investments. So they said either 18 or 20 years old, until you reach that age, you're not able to make that sale. So now we're going to go through a lot of stories and laws relating to a 18 or 20 year old who is selling things. So now, ki also the kamei Rabbi Chia. Someone came in front of Rabbi Chia Sorry, I skipped. Yeah. Sorry, they went in front of Rabbi Chia, and basically the person wanted to know, like, is he old enough? Could he sell? Could he not sell? What should he do? So, he didn't get these two signs of maturity yet, so he wanted to know what to do. So Rabbi Chia gave him advice. He said, if you're like very small, like you're very skinny, you're not eating much, you're basically fatten up. You have to be healthier. You have to eat more. And if you're already like a bigger person, so then you have to go on a diet. That's what he told him. Why? The honey simani zimnin da asu machmas kichishusa and zimnin da asu machmas briusa. It depends. Sometimes these signs will come when you're very skinny, and sometimes they'll come when you're heavier. So that was his advice to people. Depending where you are, try the opposite, and hopefully, these signs will come, and then you'll be considered a full-fledged grown-up. Okay, so now we said 18 years old. So what does 18 years old mean? Does 18 years old mean your 18th birthday, or even 17 years and 1 day? Now you're in your 18th year. What did it mean 18 years old? So Ibailuhu, we had a question. Togzman kilifneizman. We said when you're within your 18th year, so you're 17 years old, the next day, the day after your 17th birthday, so what's that considered? Is that kilifneizman? That's like before the requisite time, and therefore it's going to be not a good sale if you sell land that you inherited from your father. Or no, once you're within that 18th year, that's fine. That's already considered a adult. We don't need you to wait till your 18th birthday. As long as you're in your 18th year, then you're already considered a adult. Okay, so now Rava Amar of Nachman, Tov Zman Kilifnei Zman. Rava said in the name of Rav Nachman, we often go like Rav Nachman when it comes to monetary matters. So he said that within the time, meaning within your 18th year, is considered like before the right time, and therefore any sale you do until your 18th birthday is not going to be considered a good sale. Not any sale you do, a field that you inherited from your father. If you sell that, the rabbis nullified that sale because you're not yet mature enough. Rava Bar Shila Amar of Nachman, Tozman Kilakazman. Rava said in the name of Shila, who also said in the name of Nachman, that within your 18th year, Tozman, within the 18th year, is considered Kili Achrazman. That's considered already like after you're 18 years old, and therefore you've hit the level of maturity, and that's good enough. Okay, so says the Gemara, this that Rava said is he didn't say it explicitly, but we learned it out from a story. So let's see. Dehahu Toghzman, somebody was within their year. So they were somewhere between 17 and 18 years old. And what happened? The Azil Zavin Chase, he got an inheritance from his father, and he went and he sold the land. There was land and he sold it. The Asal Kame de Rava. Now he came to Rava and he wanted to know, was it a good sale, not a good sale? I'm not 18 yet, but I'm in my 18th year. So how do you view that? So Amar Lahu lo Asav lo Klum. No good. The sale is no good. So now, Man de Chaza, the one who saw this take place, saw this interaction, Savar Mishum, the Togzman Kilifnei Azman. He understood that Rava said what he said because Rava viewed somebody who's within the 18th year, so between 17 and 18 years old, as someone who's considered still immature before the time. His time hasn't come yet where he's going to be an adult, a fully mature adult enough to make these sales. So that's what they thought. Says the Gemara, no, Velohi, that's not what happened. It was Hasam Shtusi Yisei Rasa Chazube. The reason why Rava, you can't bring a proof that that's what Rava held. Why? Because there was extra shtus. Shtus is like nonsense. Rava saw a level of nonsense that the 17-year-old did, and therefore from the nonsense, Rava understood he's too young. What did he do? He inherited a servant, and he freed him. He freed his servant, and why would you do that? It's a good asset to have, and you're just letting money go for no reason. and you're just wasting money. So therefore, because of that incident, Rava understood the person was too young still. He didn't understand money, and therefore he didn't allow even the sale of the land to go through. Okay. So we don't see necessarily that Rava that Rava holds, that Rava for sure holds that Togzman is Kilif Nezman. That's what we thought, but it could be there was another reason over there that he saw some kind of nonsense, and therefore because of the nonsense, that's why he nullified the sale. Okay. Now time for a story, I think. Shalach le Gidel bar Menashe l'Rav. So someone named Gidel, the son of Menashe, sent to Rav the following: Yilandenu Rabbi, teach us. Tinokes bas arba esrei shana v'yom echad. I have a 14-year-old girl, and one day, who knows Yodas betiv maso matan. She knows very well. Maso matan is always referred to business transactions. She knows the market very well. She knows how to sell. She's mature. She has her head on straight. So Mahu, such a 14-year-old, what's the halacha with her? You're right. She's not 18 years old yet, but she's really good. She's really good and she's really smart. Would we nullify her sale also? So let's see. So Shalach le, he responded, Im yodas betiv maso matan. So then, if she understands the market, she's mature enough, she gets money well, so then her sale will be a good sale, and it's going to be good. So if she inherits that land, in whatever case she inherits land, if she inherits that, so then it's going to be a good sale. Okay, so now it says the Gemara, why are you asking about a 14-year-old girl? Tino. Why don't you ask about a male? What if he's mature enough? So sounds like the Gemara wants to maybe it's only a 14-year-old girl versus a 14-year-old boy. Says the Gemara, no. That was just a story. That wasn't on purpose that we asked girl versus boy. It was just that's how the story took place. So now the Gemara asks, why'd you choose 14 in one day? Wouldn't this same question apply to any girl who's over bas mitzvah, who you're considered an adult in certain areas of halacha? Here by land, we made certain limitations for you. So the question should be, you should ask if she's 12 years old and one day she had her bas mitzvah, and now the next day she wants to know, she's already a grown-up, can she sell the land of her father? So says the Gemara, once again, you don't be so exact in the exact question. Why? That was the story. The story was it was 14 in one day, but it sounds like if you feel she's very mature, even at 12 in one day, then the sale would go through. Which seems like to us that 18-year-old and 20-year-old was a general age that the rabbis gave, but in certain circumstances, if they felt that you were more mature, it could be that we would allow for those sales also, as you see by this 14-year-old, that the sale did go through, even though she wasn't 18 or 20. Okay, so now hahu pachos an esrim. You had someone who's under 20 years old. The azil, zaben nichse avua. He went and he sold the nechasim of his father. Like Gidel bar Menashe. And now what happened? Also the de Rava. So now here's a whole interesting story that happened. He was less than 20 years old and he sold the property. So he went to Rava, and I think he wanted his money back. The Rashbam says he wanted his money back. He said, listen, I don't really understand what I was doing. I want to come now and I want to retract on the sale. So what happened? Amrule Krove, so his relative said, listen, do something that shows a level of immaturity, and then Rava will see you're really immature, and then he'll nullify the sale. So basically, they want a little bit like trick Rava. They want to make believe that this person was really much more immature. Now, it could be he was less than 20. I'm not sure how old he is now. Is he much older? Is he not? Let's say this happened soon after, and he wants the field back. So what they say is that Zil Achol Tmari, go have some dates. The Shadidek Shisa, and take the seeds of the dates and sort of spit them out in Rava's house. Right? So something that like a child would do, take dates and walk around spitting them on the floor of Rava's house. So what happened? Abad Hachi, he went and he did it. Amar Lahu. So Rava saw this, realized, okay, this guy is really immature, and he said, Zvini lav Zvini. It's not a good sale. So the problem was, so then they said, Kika kasule shtara, when they want to go write a shtar for this person, they said, write the following. Kikasule shtara, amrule lekuchos. So now what happened? They wanted to write a shtar. So the lekuchos are the ones who want the property, meaning the property was sold, the buyers. So they don't want to give up their property. They said like this. They said to the people writing up the shtar, I guess to nullify the sale, or maybe on the original document, either it hasn't been written up yet, or maybe it's another document that wants to nullify the sale. They're writing up a document, and the lekuchos, the buyers, went to the sofer and they said, listen, basically they're going to say, write something foolish in this document, and therefore when this 20-year-old, less than 20-year-old kid's going to have it, he's going to go to the rabbi with the shtar. The rabbi is going to see the document and see this foolishness written on it, and one second. Sorry, the opposite. Write the shtar and write down something very intelligent. And therefore, when he brings the shtar, the document, the rabbi is going to see, wow, this is a very intelligent boy. Look how he wrote in the shtar. He wrote something very intelligent. And since that happened, then that'll be good because maybe we'll view him as an adult. And therefore, it will be a good sale. So basically, they're fighting back and forth over here. It's going to be a good sale or not. So what was the intelligent thing one should write in the document? Zil emalei l'Rava. Go tell Rava, Megillas Esther bezuzah and Shtara Demar bezuzah. So Megillas Esther, the book of Esther. So a person usually, a sofer writes that for a zuz, and this document, what I should sell it for a zuz. I don't know, Jules, how does it translate it over there? This last part. Jules, you with us? Okay.
Here, but I kept in trouble figuring out how to mute.
He wants to write a document that just like Megillas Esther is going to be a zuz.
Esther sells for zuz. How can a document of the master also sell for a zuz? Rava will then tell the scribes to reduce their price. He went and said to Rava, convinced that the youth had good business sense, and Rava retracted the original ruling.
Right. So basically, what he's saying is, look, I know how much things cost. The scroll of Esther is zuz, and look, and you're selling documents for a zuz. I want you to reduce the price of how much you charge. So what does that show you? That this kid knows the market. He knows how much things cost. And therefore, he'll show Rava that, look, he's a mature person. That's what the buyers wanted to do. So Azal Amrle, so Azal Amrle, he told them this. Amrle who Zvini Zvini. So he said, okay, it's a good sale. So it's interesting. I guess he could retract on his halakhic ruling, or maybe it wasn't finalized yet. They didn't finalize it. They didn't put it into writing yet. It's just interesting. He said, yeah, good sale. I guess it wasn't fully solidified yet, or maybe it was, but now he got more information. He could retract on it. Not sure exactly. So Amrle Krobe, so the relatives, they told the Rav, listen, they're pulling shtick on you. They're trying to trick you. Lekuchos agmaruhu. He doesn't know how much things cost. The buyers tricked him and told him to say this. But now it's funny, it backfired. Amar lahu, okay, but Rava told him, Mazbrile Savar. So Kavan de Mizbrile, the Savar made the idea. So it sounds like from the fact that they told him this and he understood, they told him to say this whole thing, and he understood that it was something, and he understood what he was saying, and he understood that, things don't cost that much on the market. So even though he didn't originate the plan, but the fact that he showed me that he understands that's how much things cost on the market, it's actually going to be a good sale. And the fact that you told him, the fact that he was walking around spitting spit seeds in my house, which was the original reason why we nullified the sale. That's chutzpah yiserahu the Havabay. That's just an extra chutzpah. It wasn't a sign that he was a small child. Rather, it was a sign that it was chutzpah. So, next time you see someone walking around with seeds, spitting them in the house, don't think he's immature. It's chutzpah. People should.
Audacity that he possesses.
I guess that was their level of chutzpah, spitting some seeds. But so now, Amar Huna, brother of Yeshua. So now, what if you're testifying on land? So once again, right, a 13-year-old kid is officially an adult for many things, unless the rabbi saw fit that he's immature for business dealings when it's coming to the land he inherited from his father. So even though we said less than 20, less than 18 is not a good age for selling land, but if you want to testify on land, your testimony is considered a good testimony. This, that the testimony is a good testimony, is only if you're testifying about movables, but not about land. What's the difference from metaltili? There we say this zvini. There, when it comes to selling movables, we allow even a young child, 7, 8 years old, if they're smart enough. The Gemara tells us the signs of a mature child who understands the value of an object. If it reaches that level, the rabbis gave them the right to buy and sell things, especially for younger children that don't have any other way to go about in the world. They need a way to make some money. So elameata, but if that's true, we have a mission that says putos mekhan mekach. These young children called putos, it's a young age of children. When they buy, it's considered a good sale. It's considered a good purchase. Memker, and when they sell, it's a good sale. So the metaltalin hachanami they do some edus. Well, the 8-year-old's testimony be good too. I found this question a little bit troublesome. Like, why should we consider your testimony a good testimony just because we made a special rule that your sale is a good sale? But okay, Amrullah said no. Hasam be'ina v'amdu shnei ha'anashim. The Torah tells us you have to have 2 men, but we're not going to go against the Torah and say that even an 8-year-old can testify. That's not going to be good. Baleka, and these 7-year-olds aren't men. So, but when it comes to selling land, even though you're 18 or 20 years old to sell the land, but you're still over 13. So that testimony, you are able to testify. Even though by selling movables, you're allowed to do it when you're less than 13, but to testify that you're not able to do. Amar Meimar, what about a gift? Less than 18 or 20, if you give a gift, it's a good gift. So now, Amr's Delo, why Dilma Moizul Mazvin? So Kolshkin Matana Mati. Says Rav Ashi to a Meimar, I don't understand. When it comes to selling things, the guy's going to get money for it. So you don't allow him to sell under the age of 18 or 20 because he might undersell the property. He might, which is worth very little. He might sell something which is worth a lot for very, very little. And you say it's not good, but for sure, a present where the guy gets nothing in return, you for sure shouldn't allow it. If you don't allow a sale to go through where the guy gets money, but you're worried he might get too little money, so for sure, a present, a matana, a gift that the guy's gifting, where he gets nothing in return, you should for sure not allow. It says the Gemara, no. We're going to ask, it's not because we're worried he might undervalue his property. Amar level if you think the whole reason why we don't allow it under 18-year-old to sell property is because he doesn't know how much things cost, he might underevaluate it. If that would be true, then Zavin Shavi Chamisha Beshisa, so Hachanami Zvini. And then if he sold land for $5 and he overpriced it, I'm selling you my land, which is $5 for $6, you should allow the sale to go through. Because there he's gaining and not losing. And we know that's not true. If you're 18 years old or 20 years old, no matter what happens, even if you get more for the property, you get more money than it's actually worth, it's still not a good sale. So Ella, what's the pshat? How do we understand it? Ella Kimlahu the Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said they understood the Yunuka Mekarve Daite Gabazuze. A young child has a special affiliation with money. And therefore, anybody's going to, so to speak, flash money at him, he'll go and sell the stuff. And what's going to happen? The Amrs, the Zvinis, what's going to happen? If you allow a sale to go through of someone under 18 or 20 years old, Zinin de Mekarkishile Zuzi, and Azalumizm, you could imagine the kid has $500,000 in his bank account. He has a property worth $500,000. Right? He needs fast cash because he wants to, go to his favorite sports game or whatever. Right? He needs $20 right now. So he'll just sell the land of $500,000 for $20 to get tickets for that night's game, right? So meaning the rabbis decided that we don't allow someone 18 or 20 years old he's not mature enough to make those decisions because he might just, at the first dollar he sees, he'll just sell all of his property for fast cash. So therefore, we didn't allow him to make a sale for 18 because he's 18 or 20 years old. But a gift has nothing to do with money. A gift of Al-Gabi Matana, what's going to happen? You want us to not allow him to give a gift. So what's going to happen? Right? If he didn't get any if he got no hana from the gift, he would never give the gift. If he got no pleasure from giving a gift, he wouldn't give it. Meaning, you have a kid, he lost his father, he has no way to go about his so much to take care of in the house. He needs help. So he doesn't have cash on him. So what does he do? He can give gifts. So if he gives a little gift, the guy will then, go do shopping for him. So we allow him. He's only going to give gifts if he gets something in return for it, generally speaking. So since we want people to help out this yasam, this orphan, we allow him to give gifts to people in order that they can, who knows, they can go help with the cleaning, help with the shopping, help take care of things around the house. So therefore, there's no reason for us to prohibit the gifting of gifts, as opposed to money, where until you're 18 or 20 years old, we thought that the flashing the dollar is going to be too much to handle for this guy. He's going to grab the dollar, give all his property away, and he's basically going to he's going to get stuck, right? So you see how much the rabbis cared about a person's financial security. It's a very important thing to them, especially someone who can't take care of themselves, yet. Okay.
Are we saying that a 14-year-old girl knows more than an 18-year-old boy?
Right. So the Gemara thought that, but the Gemara ended up saying, if you show a level of maturity, so then maybe that sale would be a good sale. Meaning you have to know, for instance, the Rosh Yeshiva of the Bolozhin Yeshiva, it's called the Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin, the Netziv. He came to Yeshiva 11 years old, to Bolozhin Yeshiva. He was married at 13 or 14 years old, right? And and he became a Rosh Yeshiva, in his early 30s. So there are people that are much, and it's only going back 200 years, not so long ago. There are people that are very mature. So those people, their sale's a good sale. But it sort of depends, right? So nowadays, it could very well be that a 25-year-old who's finishing college or whatever it is, it probably could have no idea what money is, and maybe the rabbi would not allow such a person. But they have to make general rules. So the general rule of thumb was 18 or 20 years old. Two opinions. But Jules, it's for sure true. A 14-year-old girl is way more mature than a 25-year-old man. That's for sure true. That's look around the world, like not even a question. So okay. Now that's all by my finances. What about other areas of halacha? Do we check the kid out? Just because you hit 13 years old does not mean that you're automatically an adult unless you have these two signs, usually two hairs. By the way, when does this come up practically? When you read the Torah for Parsha Zachar, special reading we do, there are some opinions that hold that Torah reading is biblical. It's biblical. So many people whose bar mitzvah boys, their bar mitzvah falls out on Parsha Zachar, they will not allow their sons to lane, because since it's a biblical status, we're not sure if they're yet fully mature, and therefore they will not be allowed to lane those weeks. It's interesting, because just because they're 13, they're not necessarily have two signs which you need for maturity. Okay, so Let's go before davening starts. So let's see. Amar of Nachman, Amar Shmuel, Bodkin, Lekidushin, Legerishin, Lechalitza, Ulemiyunin. So 6 things. Belimkor benik the Aviv Adshe ben Esrim. So now we check a person for Kiddushin, meaning even though he's 13 years old, and even though a girl is 12 years old, however, we don't just assume that they're already mature adults. You have to check them for these 2 signs, 2 hairs. For marriage, for divorce, for chalitza, for miyun. Miyun is when a little girl gets married, her father's not around, her mother or brother can marry her off. Before a certain age, she can reject the marriage. When she turns 12 years old, she can reject the marriage. It's called miyun. And you can sell property until you're 20 years. And check you until you're 20 years old to see if you have the requisite signs. So now says the Gemara, let's go one by one. This guy that got married, so now he wants to get divorced. So he's 13 years old. So you're going to check him now? What happened? How did he get married? Didn't you check him when he was married already? Before he got married? The kaven the badakna lekidushin legerishin lamali. If you already checked the guy for being an adult when he got married, then obviously now he's getting divorced. Later on, he's an adult already. Says the Gemara, you're right. Lo nitzrucha elo leyibum. You're right. I need it for a special case of yibum. What's the case? The Tanan ben teisha shana b'yom echad. The halacha is a 9-year-old in one day shebal yivimta that has relations with his sister-in-law. When his brother died, Kana does acquire her. He does it. The whole Gemara there in Sanhedrin. Okay, we'll see Bez Hashem soon. A few months. He does acquire her. 9 years old, minimal age. He does acquire her. By the way, many halachas for start at 9 years old. Listening to women singing, secluding yourself with women. Those all start around 9 years old. Touching women. All those things. 9 years old is a certain level of maturity for a boy. So a 9-year-old who would have relations with a Yavama acquired her. It's going to be his wife. However, the ain knows can get achi yigdal l'chalitza. Achi yigdal, but he cannot give a get yet until he's 13 years old. So that's the case where you have to check him at 13 if he wants to divorce this lady to make sure, even though he's 13 years old, he's going to make sure that he has 2 signs. And that's the case where before he divorces her, you have to check. Okay, being 13 for chalitza, you have to make sure you check the boy before he does chalitza. What's the novelty in that? La'afuke mid Rabbi Yossi. We're coming to exclude the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. The Amar, what did Rabbi Yossi say? Ish the parsha. It says ish. It says a man, a male. Aval isha ben gedolo ben ketana. But a woman, she could be even a young lady, and you could still do chalitza on her, even under 12 years old. So our Mishnah says, our Gemara teaches us, Kamash Malon, the makshinan isha ish. We compare a woman to a man, that the woman also has to be of proper age to do the chalitza service. Below Rabbi Yossi, which is not like the opinion like Rabbi Yossi. You have to check the person before they do miyun. Meaning, only a young girl is allowed to do miyun. Meaning she can reject the husband. But once she already hit a level of maturity and she hasn't rejected him yet, then she's married to him. So before she gets 2 hairs, she's allowed to reject him. Once she gets that, she can't reject him anymore. Ulemiyunin, what's the novelty? La'afukim and Rabbi Yehuda, to exclude the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar, he says, no. Ad sheyir b'shachar. He has a much higher bar. Until she has many hairs, she's still someone who could do miyun. So, Kamash Malon, the Lo Rabbi Yehuda. We hold not Rabbi Yehuda, and we don't wait till a lot of hair, meaning a lot of maturity, a lot of signs. Rather, once you have 2 signs, then you're no longer able to reject the marriage. Yeah. Okay. The limkor benichse aviv adshe ben esrim, and you have to you have to check him to sell the property of his father, right? Until he's 20 years old, he can't do that. So la'afuke, that's coming to exclude miman the amar ben shmones, right? Our first opinions that we saw yesterday, that it's coming to exclude the opinion that you have to be 18 years old. You have to be 20 years old. Until you're 20 years old, you are unable to sell the land of your father. Okay, wrap everything up. The hilchasa. So first of all, let's say you're within your 18th year. You're between 17 years old and 1 day until 18 years old. Halacha is that's considered kilifnei zman. It's like before the time, and you have to wait till you are either 18 or 20. You wait for your 18th or 20th birthday. Not that 18th or 20th year is not good enough. That's still before this zman. Okay. The Gidel Bar Menashe, and the halacha is like Gidel Bar Menashe, who told us earlier that that told us that a 13-year-old who knows the commerce, knows the market well, knows how to deal with money, so that he can even sell the property. He could sell it, meaning 18 or 20, but if someone shows maturity at a younger age, then that would also be a good sale. The Hilchasa Kimar Zutra, the halacha is like Mar Zutra, that when you're 13 years old, you can testify on land that was sold or not. Your testimony does count. And that you can testify on movables, but on land you cannot testify. Sorry, you can only testify on the movables at 13 years old, but when it comes to land, we need you to be older. Okay, the hilchas like a meimar. Allah is like a meimar who said that a 13-year-old who might not know how the market works and doesn't understand money so well, he gives a gift. It's going to be considered a good gift. The hilchas like Rav Nachman Amar Shmuel b'Kulu, and the halacha is like Rav Nachman and Amar Shmuel, which is what we just said. This whole list of things, kiddushin, gerushin, chalitza, all these things, you have to check for the simanim first. You check, make sure.
Isn't that a little like God that but if you're 13 and you can't sell your land, but you can give your land away
as a present?
Yeah, like I have a $500,000 piece of land and somebody talks me into it and I give it to you as a gift, right? Like that seems more easily manipulative, like
that's what the Gemara thought at the beginning of this Amud. But the Gemara that kid, he understands that he's only going to give a gift if he gets something in return. Meaning, generally, he would give gifts so that people would help him. So that much he understands that to get help. So therefore, we allowed him in order to let people help him around the house. If he's an orphan, there's no one there to help him. All he has is land. So we allow him to gift some of the land away to in order that people should help him around the house. When it comes to money, the first guy's going to wave a $50 bill at him. He's going to take the cash and sell all of his land. Therefore, we were more strict. That's right. The assumption is that now, obviously, if a kid for no reason gave away a bunch of land, so I wonder what would happen if you go to the rabbi and you ask him, the guy really has no idea what he's doing. Maybe they would nullify the gift there too. I don't know. You see here that really it depends on the maturity of the person. So we've only saw maturity when it comes to sale, but it could be if a guy's just giving away land for no reason, like a crazy man. So then it could be we would nullify that also. Generally, the Gemara talks about having an apotropos, meaning there's somebody who's like your guardian over your money, who does the dealings for you. That often happens. Bezdin appoints somebody. So, it's a good point, Jared. It's interesting a gift, and yeah. Okay, we have one more minute, so we'll try to do this Mishnah. Lazar disagrees with everything we learned the last 20 daf. Anything you sell, whether you're on your deathbed, doesn't matter. It has to go through a formal acquisition. Whether you're sick or you're healthy, it doesn't matter. Real estate has to be acquired with money, a document, or a chazaka, and movables have to be acquired with.
We're doing blessings now.
Okay, we'll continue tomorrow morning in person.
Yashka.
Have a great day.
Amen.